What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Ray P back for another one. What's going on, fellas?
Nice. Slow motion on this end. What's going on with you?
Ray P, I missed you.
Oh, I miss you.
Yes.
Feels good to be recording together, all three of us. It's been a few
Yeah.
weeks since we actually all got together, man. So always a pleasure recording with both of you. And also always a pleasure to be heard by the listeners.
Yes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. We almost set up a Patreon for this episode so we can charge motherfuckers $59.95 to listen to this.
If you know, you know, huh?
Yeah, if you know, you know. Obviously the title of the movie is Menace II Society. We're going to be getting into it. Want to give a quick shout out to Ray P. Ray P's podcast. We got y'all just wrapped up Winning Time. The rise of the Lakers dynasty. I'm just salty to myself. By now, everybody who watches the show, they know that the show was canceled. We're going to speak it into life. It's canceled for the moment. We're already speaking into existence. Apple TV picking it up, finishing the job and everything. But I just laugh because it's called Winning Time and it ended with the Lakers losing. So much more to that. But Ray P did an incredible job with that series. 7 incredible episodes. Obviously, you know what to expect from her. It was a pleasure to co-host with you, and looking forward to whatever's coming next on that end as far as the television side. And then school, we got School's Guilty Pleasure ready to launch off, I think, next month officially, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got something real nice coming for you niggas.
Culture Garden's taking our quarterly break at next week, so we won't have an episode. School might drop another Guilty Pleasure episode. I'm not sure. I don't want to commit to it. You guys will see next week whether or not something's released on the feed. That will be on this feed, though. So remember to check us out. Check them out. Check out the Linktree. You will see all the links to all these podcasts and where you can find them. And also, please remember, what's up?
My bad. I just wanted to say to y'all, great episode last week. First off, man, that's a good ass movie. Y'all had me
Crazy Stupid Love?
Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't watched it since it dropped, so I definitely was good ass episode, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Like Ray P said, we just get on here and be running our mouths, man.
That's literally
y'all held it down. Y'all held it down. I appreciate it.
Nah, definitely appreciate that. Thank you, man. And before we get into today's episode, there will be spoilers. Shame on you if you haven't seen this movie. And like you said, it is Menace to Society. School, this was your week to pick. I forgot to say, it's streaming on Pluto. So if you haven't watched it, please go check it out. Or, as I'm holding up this DVD cover for those watching on YouTube, you can own this joint too. But School, this is your week to choose. You said what?
It's $1.34 on Prime.
Is it for real?
Huh?
Oh, definitely get it on Prime then as well. It's worth $1.34.
Absolutely.
At the least. But yeah, what made you choose a movie this week? Obviously, it's a classic, but
I picked Menace to Society because the acting, the messages, just everything about this movie is amazing. And on top of that, this movie was made for the Culture Garden, so I had to. It's only right.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. I love how you said the messages. We're gonna have a conversation. Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about.
Okay.
I get what he's saying. There are some standouts, but
yeah,
we'll have a conversation. The synopsis of this film: a young street hustler attempts to escape the rigors and temptations of the ghetto in a quest for a better life. As far as the stats go, this film was released May 26, 1993, directed by the Hughes Brothers, Albert and Alan. We discussed them when we did our Dead Presidents episode, which came after this film, directly after in 95. They also directed The Book of Eli. It was written by the Hughes Brothers and Tiger Williams, had a budget of an estimated $3.5 million and made $27.9 million worldwide. Made all his money back opening weekend with a $3.8 million opening. The fifth most successful film in terms of cost to return ratio for the year of 1993. So definitely, when you look at the big picture, it was a very successful film. currently streaming on Pluto, as I mentioned earlier. As far as awards go, it had 2 wins and 4 nominations. Winner of the Independent Spirit Award for Best Cinematography and 1994 MTV Movie Award for Best Movie. Getting to the cast, Tyrone Turner as Kane. Listen, we family here. I'm not this podcast. We say it all the time. This podcast was made to give its flowers.
Yes,
you know what I mean. I'm not. We have to acknowledge the fact either Larenz Tate was that good at being O-Dog, or Tyrone Turner just didn't necessarily hold his weight in some of these scenes. Overall, he did his thing. I get it. He's Kane. That's a legendary character. But there are certain things, such as him being in the backseat of the car. Hey, I ain't killing no kids, all right? Yeah. Stuff like that. It's hard to get away with, and it's hard to ignore. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping.
It can be true.
All right. I just, that's the only reason I bring it up is because there's always rumblings about that. We wouldn't be as authentic as we are. We wouldn't be us if we didn't at least discuss it, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one who heard that or thought that at certain points during the film.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say, it was ridiculous. But again, I think some of that is the writing. And two, Larenz Tate is an actor. He's been acting prior to this. He's got the longevity. And part of that is his skill set, is due to his skill set. And we haven't seen Tyrone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And this was Lorenz's film debut. My bad, Scott. Were you gonna say something?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I think what you're saying is absolutely true about Larenz just jumping off the screen, because not to jump on trivia, but the original O-Dog was supposed to be have a jerry curl and supposed to be muscular. But of course, once Larenz Tate stepped in and what am I looking for?
Took the role.
Shit, it is what it is. This guy's O-Dog. Fuck it. So he did his thing.
Yeah, and one thing about Larenz Tate, I was thinking about this when I was watching this film. Rachel, you hit the nail on the head. Actor, thespian. When I sit back and I look at early Larenz Tate filmography, I wonder if we don't give that brother as much respect and love as we should for his acting abilities. And I wonder if that happens because and every actor has it, but for every Menace and every Inkwell and every Love Jones, you have a Biker Boys and you have a Waist Deep that you play in as well. And I think some certain generations, maybe your introduction of Larenz Tate might have been, his Tyrese's sidekick in Waist Deep.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't grow up with Darius. You didn't grow up with O-Dog. Yeah. And I look at the first part of his career and it's incredible. Larenz Tate is one of the ones, and I don't think we throw his name in that conversation as much as we should for his not only classic performances, but overall incredible acting skills.
For sure.
I agree 110% with that, brother. He's off the charts when it comes to acting, and whatever you need from him, he's going to do it, Yeah.
And we talked about it in Love Jones, but I forget who it was. It might have been Roger Ebert said that I can't believe the same person I see playing Darius Lovehall is the same person that played O-Dog. I can't believe that's the same human being doing all these things.
That range.
We've spoken briefly about the Inkwell as well, and what type of character that was and where you had to go with it. So there's a lot, man. He has a lot in his bag, and shout out to Larenz Tate. Just this moment right now to give him his flowers, because he really is one. He one of them ones. And he was 17 at the time of filming this. Come on, man.
Yep,
that's incredible. 17 years old. I ain't about to say the wild shit. I was about to say what I was doing at 17, but
don't say it.
I'm not.
Is it Rashad Tate? Is that who he plays in Power?
Yeah, Rashad Tate in Power kills that role.
Yeah,
So one thing that was interesting, I guess I never knew, O-Dog is supposed to be 15 in this film.
Yes.
Which makes him even more scary.
Mm-hmm.
We got Jada Pinkett Smith as Ronnie, Samuel L. Jackson as Tad Lawson, Candy Alexander as Karen Lawson, Glenn Plummer as Pernell, Arnold Johnson as Grandpa, Marilyn Coleman as Grandma. Both of them played in 5 Heartbeats. I just want to shout them out. Also other things. MC8 as AWAX, Vontae Sweet as Sharif, Ryan Williams as Stacy, Clifton Powell as Chauncey, the incredible Clifton Powell. And we also have appearances from Anthony Johnson, Brandon Hammond as Young Kane, Reginald Ballard as Clyde, Brubman, shout out to him. We wouldn't be right if we didn't shout out Brubman on this podcast. Samuel Monroe Jr. as Alina's cousin, classic hood character.
Yes.
James Pickens Jr. as it's just funny every time I watch this film and I watch James Pickens Jr. just go off on his rant like that. We'll talk about that scene, I'm sure. So far as Harold Too Short as Luloke, Bill Duke as the detective, and Charles S. Dutton as Mr. Butler. First experiences, school. Remember the first time you saw this film?
Actually, I do. I watched it with Big Sis. I want to say on Palmyra. Damn. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Northbrook, Coleraine area.
No, I was about to know because I thought you were about to say Marino, and I was about to be like, "Yo, y'all was bugging."
Hey, nah.
You were super young at Marino.
Definitely.
Remember how old you were when you watched it?
Young as fuck. I remember being kind of, I don't want to say scared because that's not the right, but I remember like having a feeling about this movie. Like, I don't think I want to watch that ever again. Like, especially the ending. Like, that shit was crazy to me.
I get it. Yeah, that's kind of traumatic, low key.
Yeah.
Rachel, how old were you when you saw it? Just out of curiosity.
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't even remember the first time I saw Menace II Society. I have no idea. It had to have been either my aunt's house or my grandmother's house because this is not a Boulevard movie.
Nah, I feel that.
I have no idea when and where I saw this for the first time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't either. And I'm usually pretty good about that. I have no idea when the first time I saw Menace II Society. I remember distinctly the first time I saw Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
But not Menace. And I can't tell you. I might have seen Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood before I saw Menace II Society. We keeping it real. I was 6 when this came out. I was 8 when Menace came out. Or excuse me, Don't Be a Menace came out. I don't know. Either way, it's just one of those films I have seen countless times. I just can't remember the first time. And the only reason I asked as far as age is because as we get into this movie, I was thinking about the Crash episode and just hindsight and just having experiences, as I mentioned, and living. And you age with films, and that's just kind of what it is. And I'm going to take off my 36-year-old glasses for this episode. I'm not going to crack. I mean, it's a classic. It's Menace II Society. However, you do watch these films differently the older you get. When I was young, when I was 14, 15, the action scenes, this shit was live. Like, this was just some gangster shit. And now, as a 36-year-old man, your heart kind of breaks, and you see the bigger picture and just kind of the situation that they're trapped in. You look at somebody like O-Dog and be like, yo, this kid has no chance. There's nothing nobody can say to get to him. Like, he is lost. He's just gone. And when you look at it from that standpoint, when I'm 16, I don't think about it like that.
Right.
O-Dog at that time. You hang with O-Dog. And now it's like, damn, man, like my heart kind of break for that brother. So like I said, I'm not going to use that lens because obviously that's what you can do that with a ton of movies.
Right.
And also because the Hughes Brothers' intention was they said we made this film for white people. Just kind of like a glimpse into the life of ghetto America. And they wanted it to be universal, so they didn't use gangs, they didn't use Bloods and Crips. That's why they used gangsters and niggas doing gangster shit. So it can be played in New York. It can be played in Miami. It can be played in all these places who don't necessarily have that gang culture. And when I think about it like that, and when I think about their whole purpose, because remember, they're 21 at the time, they haven't even lived through life. They're just trying to show some shit. Their whole, and we'll talk about this in the origin. they were on some 50 Cent shit when they came out. They dissed everybody. Every black director they had beef with.
Yeah.
They saw Boys in the Hood and just said, we want to make some harder shit than that. We're going to make Boys in the Hood look like Mickey Mouse or Alice in Wonderland, whatever the fuck they said. And you can kind of tell that was their whole intention. School, you always said Menace II Society is low-key a scary movie. It's a horror film in some senses.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hopelessness, and that was their intention. They wanted to be nihilistic when it came to this film. They didn't want to have any kind of optimism. It just kind of is what it is. There is no, I said it in the Crash episode. I'm really big on solutions. How do we get past this? Like, what is the problem? It wasn't made for that. It was just made to say, here's what's going on. Do with it what you want.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. You're right.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you say all of that. And 100% true. Ironically enough, earlier today, I was talking to a friend of mine from Detroit, and we were just talking about the violence. Like, even though this is the 90s in South Central LA, it's not isolated to South Central. Like, that is the hood all across America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was definitely relatable content for so many. And shout out to the Hughes Brothers for that. As violent as it is, as scary, to your point, School, as it was, because I found myself taking it back too. Like, God damn. The rewatch, because that's just not my reality.
You know it's bad when grandma and grandpa kick you out. Like, we just can't do this with you no more, man. Like, you bringing that shit to our front door. Like,
and everything was real. Everything about the film and the actions and repercussions was realistic, and not on the gangster level. None of us, I'll speak for all three of us, none of us are gangster niggas.
No.
I mean,
shout out to Vince Tate.
However, I ain't say we ain't live gangster lifestyles. We just might not be gangster niggas. However, we're adjacent. You know what I mean? And that's just being honest. As most people are. You are adjacent. You know, you have very direct ties with somebody who probably in that life, lives in that life, even if they're not, directly involved, but in the areas, all of that. Like, that's just what it is. So I know the Hughes Brothers said it was made for white people, but I think it was also a glimpse for middle class Black America.
Yeah,
for sure.
Who knew that this shit was happening, but didn't know it was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about living? God damn.
Like, that's a wild, it's a wild, this film is wild.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. So they filmed it in 33 days. And just to put the cherry on top, the Hughes Brothers said this isn't even the film they wanted to make. They only got about 80% there.
Yep.
They said they wanted to be more violent, more gritty. Like, Kane was supposed to be a more violent character. So they used O-Dog to kind of push that end of the spectrum and push Kane towards the middle. So at least towards the end, you can have some kind of conflict as a viewer about the character of Kane. You know, he did all his bad shit, but you see him trying to do right. But he was supposed to be on some other shit, like pretty much O-Dog's accomplice.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same level. Chris and Snoop.
Straight up.
Yeah. So yeah, and they wanted to make a gangster film. I said it earlier. They wanted to make a gangster and not a gang film. They were influenced by Goodfellas.
Classic.
Ironically enough, because they were like, yo, there's this film. Obviously, Goodfellas came out in 1990, 3 years before Menace. Yeah. Here's this film that just took America by storm. And it's the most violent gangster shit ever. And America just has a soft spot for this. Let's try to do this with a Black film and Black people. And obviously you have the very near similarity opening scenes of both films. You have these characters being introduced over narration before you actually see what's going on. You just kind of dropped in the middle of this scene and some wild shit pop off before the credits even happen. So you see those similarities between them. And it was written before the 92 riots, and the studio wanted them to add that shit in the movie. And they were like, nah, man, like real people going through real pain. Like for us to put that in the movie and monetize off that, like, y'all some scumbags. So with them saying that, it actually was put on the show for a while. Nobody would buy it because they wouldn't include the riots. And New Line got involved, and obviously things got off the ground.
Shout out to the Hughes Brothers for that as well, because most people would just they would do it anyway just because they want their product out. Like, fuck it, you know. So shout out to them for standing their ground.
Yeah, because you can easily look at that and say, oh well, it happened in real life, so somebody, you know, people always use the famous line, somebody gonna do it, so I might as well be the one make some money off of it. But shout out, you gotta have some morals. You gotta be able to look at yourself in the face. Right. We're gonna talk about Tupac here in a second, but I want to lead up to it. So I mentioned that the Hughes brothers kind of came in on a 50 Cent, just beef with everybody. They were going around in interviews talking about Spike Lee doesn't know how to end a movie. Marty Rich, who made a film, I think in 92 called Straight Outta Brooklyn. They said it was the worst piece of shit they had ever seen. They said, don't get them started on John Singleton.
Oh, man.
They were just pretty much taking shots at everybody. There was an interview in 1992. Albert Hughes said that he loved Boys in the Hood. But then he came back later and said he was just being political because of the interview and he didn't like it. I already said he said his new film was going to make, which is Menace, it's going to make Boys in the Hood look like Mary Poppins. Boys in the Hood wasn't made to be Menace, so whatever to that. Like I said, this is a 21-year-old filmmaker. But as far as Tupac Shakur goes, Hughes Brothers taking shots at John Singleton. Tupac starred in Poetic Justice. Him and John Singleton became friends. John Singleton, being who John Singleton is, and being where John Singleton's from, started to question what's up with these Hughes Brothers dudes.
Yeah.
He was on the set of a music video that Pac was, they were actually directing the video for Pac, and he was on the set, and he asked to see one of their IDs, and it was like If My Homie Calls. It was a Tupac song.
Yeah.
He asked to see one of their IDs, and the license said Claremont, which is a real white area in LA. So John Singleton looked at it and hit him with the Claremont, huh? Like the little subtle, all right, motherfucker, gave it back to him. Like, you ain't black for real. You know, they are mixed race. And that became a real big thing about whether they were even qualified to talk about this. And after that, they noticed that Pac, who was what's up?
That certainly changes things.
Which part?
Y'all from the suburbs, and y'all probably got a white mama.
Is she Armenian, if I'm not mistaken?
Albanian,
Armenian. I can probably look that up. No disrespect to them. I'm not trying to get their background mixed up. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
I had no clue that they were biracial. That's crazy.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Hughes brothers are biracial.
Did not know.
Pops is black and mom is...
And not from the hood.
No, they're from Claremont. Yep. So and so John Singleton was on he was trolling them for real. You know, they were talking about being young and directing and all that stuff, and I think that's how he set it up. They were talking about being young, and I think John Singleton was like, you ain't 21 or whatever, because John was young too.
Yeah.
He pulled out his ID and showed him, and then he looked at where he is from, all Claremont. All right, I just figured out what type of dude you are.
Laguna.
And then as soon as that incident happens, Tupac started talking slick about the Hughes brothers, making all kind of slick comments. And obviously we get into Tupac. For those that I think everybody should know this, unless you've been under a rock. Tupac was originally cast in Menace II Society to play the role of Sharif. And he got fired. And 6 months later, there was the infamous assault on, I believe, Allen Hughes, which led to Pac being sentenced to 15 days.
Whoop that ass.
Yeah, whooped his ass.
Listen, he went on MTV and was bragging about that.
That's what got him. Yeah, he went on MTV, bragged about it. They played that shit in court.
Shout out to Gangstalicious, man.
Yeah, man, that shit's silly. But he got fired because he didn't understand why the character Sharif turned Muslim. He just didn't understand it. Like, I need a little bit more context. When we did Above the Rim, we talked about a small scene where his boy just died and they wanted to pour him glasses of drinks at the table. He said, no, I need a whole bottle. My friend just died. He's thinking of the character. So he's always into his thespian bag. Why is Sharif Muslim? What you say he's a knucklehead turned Muslim? Why? What happened? Give me a little bit of background so I know how to play this. And they just wouldn't do it. So the story is Tupac became difficult.
Yeah.
Probably not. And the story was Tupac was being difficult on set, but you ask rappers such as MC8 who play AWACS, he was like, nah, he was about that. So if he's gonna do some shit, like if I'm coming from who I am now, and then you just want to portray me as a come on, my brothers type of dude,
yeah,
you got to give me some kind of direction. That doesn't make any sense because I'm like the rest of these dudes in this movie. So it, he couldn't see the vision, and obviously everybody being young got in the fight.
The crazy thing about that is, bro, again, not to jump ahead, but that's one of the things that bothered me about this film is the Sharif character. It's like, why? Like they do a damn good job of like him portraying that and doing that, but like, why? What happened? I'm with Pac. Like, what's up?
Because let me ask the both of you this. Let me just ask. The way Sharif is portrayed in the film, and I'm not from LA, so I don't know how the culture works as far as that goes, but I am a young black man who grew up with young black friends. I don't even see Sharif hanging with them on a regular like that. Nah. It just doesn't even make sense.
Not anymore.
You know, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not saying they wouldn't hang with them like they wouldn't be. I'm sorry, Rachel, real quick. I'm not saying that he wouldn't hang with them like they wouldn't be cool, but I don't think they'd be each other's tribe.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Hold on, Ray P, what was you gonna say?
I could see that, but I also got that there is quite an age variation between a little bit of everybody.
What I was gonna
say. So I felt like Sharif is a little bit older than Kane because only Kane graduated, but Sharif was done with school. We know that Stacy went to a different school, so he's at least 18. He and Kane are 18-ish. I think Sharif is like 19 because he's still around. Maybe he got in trouble, went to jail, but he was probably fucking with them, got in trouble, but these still my niggas, even though I've changed my life and I'm trying to guide y'all young dumb motherfuckers, because even with O-Dog, he said he was supposed to be 15. We knew he was younger than, we knew he was still a minor when he and Kane got arrested, you know, with the car shit. Yep. So I don't know. I felt like he was just like a year older, and this is just all like some neighborhood shit. And sometimes the neighborhood age group varies. And who I'm gonna kick it with? I guess I can go kick it with these Muslim niggas, but at the end of the day, y'all still my niggas, like y'all still my riders, and I want y'all to live.
Yeah, that's good. But and he was getting away. Remember, he was going to Kansas. He was out of there.
Yeah, with Stacy though. Yeah. That wasn't just his own move.
Right. Yeah. No, I do like that, and that's what I needed as a viewer. More about that character of Sharif, because if you have somebody that stands out that much compared to everybody, even though Stacy wasn't like a gangster, but he made sense in that group. Sharif just stood out, and I wanted a little bit more as to why. You know, if you telling me, because they went out of their way to say, you know, Kane said he's known Stacy since they were kids. They've been friends for that long. I wanted something like that for Sharif, even if it was a throwaway line like that to make me understand this is some sandbox shit. So that's why Sharif is still around. But what you said was just perfect too, as well, Ray P. Speaking of you, Ray, this is going right into your point. Hughes Brothers started doing interviews around the time the movie starts. Of course, now everybody questioning, where y'all from?
For sure.
Where you grow up? What was your background like? And it really started pissing them off. So they went on the whole, y'all don't ask Steven Spielberg where he grew up. Y'all don't ask. Yeah, they was on that. Which is to my point. Oh, well, go ahead, Ray. I see you brewing. I think you might say what I was about to say.
It matters. It matters. As much as we talk about movies and shows and this, that, and the third, I can't develop a character from the hood by myself based off my own experience, because it's not my lived experience. Yes, I can speak to my cousins and whatever else, but I'm gonna need to call you in to come help me develop this in some kind of way, because if I'm gonna do it right and it's not me shooting down, punching down, coming from some white shit,
Yeah.
then I need help with doing that. Being that y'all are upset that people are calling y'all out, y'all, that's not y'all life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know. That makes the movie even more different for me, even getting that information, because now it feels less like of a message. Shout out to Don't Be a Menace movie. The plight of Black people, some Black people in the hood, like this is what it's like, and I'm sure it is like that for some people.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
like some white gay shit. And I know he said we made it for white people, but now I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
Oh man.
I don't like it.
Listen, I'm not mad at you.
It's not your voice. It's not your story to tell.
It's you make incredible points, Ray P. We're not gonna have the Tarantino conversation today. We'll do a Tarantino movie and we'll have a Tarantino conversation. What you just said reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have this mixed relationship with Quentin Tarantino because he makes so many movies that I love. I mean, not just enjoy, I mean, I love these films. Yep. Pulp Fiction was the film that turned me from above average movie watcher to cinephile. Like that made me obsessed with movies.
Yep.
I really loved movies before Pulp Fiction. I became obsessed with them after. But there's also this Tarantino thing where you crossing lines, bro, and just writing some shit that you just never experienced and should. Yeah. And he always uses the excuse of, if I know people or seen stuff like that, then maybe I can take these experiences and write them on paper. Okay, you can use a life and whatever influences, but you're getting very specific with certain things. Are there people like these characters you write? Sure. Do I feel comfortable about you being the one writing about them? No, exactly. Because we always say it about the Culture Garden. I think the reason this works and the reason why people come and listen to us, which we appreciate all y'all, because we are just authentically ourselves. This is just what we're going to do. And you can't fake that shit. And if you do try to fake it, it's going to be very noticeable.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's that
wild shit, man.
The whole combo, that whole combo reminds me of the track Young Nigga from Nip. What he say? What they call you? Where you from, nigga? Like, yeah, straight up. Like, man,
that's a good point, man. Shout out to Nip, man. I'm not a nigga, but I play one on TV. I think one of the Hughes brothers defined this whole situation as that. So it didn't. That was their answer, I guess, a la Tarantino's answer. You know, I'm not a nigga, but I play one on TV. I can write about it even if I ain't necessarily experienced it or went through it. So, yeah, they were really annoyed with the comparisons to other Black filmmakers, annoyed that the studios wanted them to have a Black mentor. They felt like studios looked at them as their fancy niggas instead of real filmmakers. This is their words, not mine. And like I said, the film was inspired by Scarface and Goodfellas. You said what?
From Claremont.
Yeah, they're from Claremont, man. This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. All right, this question is going to be interesting now. It should still be the same answer.
Yeah.
Ray P, classic or not?
No. I suppose. For niggas. Oh,
I just burst Ray P's bubble. My bad.
It wasn't I mean, I guess it's a classic in the ways that we think of it, but it's not up there for me.
I'm gonna say it's a classic, and I'm gonna say it's a classic because of Tiger. Is his name Tiger Williams?
Tiger Williams, yeah.
Tiger Williams. He the nigga. So yeah, man, he helped write.
Yeah, shout out to Tiger Williams, man. Help collaborate and getting them together. That is an important point, School. I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
They did not write this themselves. They did have some different elements. Yeah, that's a very man. You guys are funny. They funny now, not y'all. They funny. When I say you guys, I mean Hughes Brothers. It's definitely a classic. Yeah, I can't take that away from them. I can't deny it. Shout out to Maurice, man. My good earner brethren. he asked a question this week and was like, you know, what's the more classic album, Doggy Style or Victory Lap? I said Doggy Style, bro. Like Victory Lap, I listen to Victory Lap more.
Mm-hmm.
Victory Lap is more pertinent to my life.
Yeah,
but it's Doggy Style, man. Like we can't overthink this type of stuff.
Yep.
I feel the same way about Menace II Society. You know, Menace II Society is a classic. Hey, Ray P stupid.
For sure. For sure.
Oh man, is this film too violent? I think we touched
my life.
You said what?
I've never played Victory Lap in my life.
Oh, Ray P.
Come on, Ray P.
You can't be saying that on the Menace episode.
Get out.
I'm not a rap girl.
You're not a rap girl. I'll give you that. But Victory Lap is that's one of them ones. Classic. Classic. I'm definitely gonna get a text from Maurice like Ray P ain't never listened to Victory Lap. I know that's coming in.
You about to get a text from me. Shit.
They haven't. School.
No. And please listen. I'm on timeout intermission. Very brief intermission. Let me say something real quick for all y'all out there. All right, I know Ray P personally. Please, 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 do not try to reach out to Ray P and convince her to listen to it. Don't convince her that it's good. Just let her be.
Hey, you know what I was about to say?
Just let her be. I'm telling y'all.
I already knew what you was about to say, Rich. You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say, Jeezy, don't do it.
Yeah, please don't. I'm just telling y'all, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Mm-hmm. If I don't know anything else about Ray P, from my 18 years of knowing her, don't try to convince her of some shit she already convinced of.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, just let it go. But back to the episode. We'll get into some categories. Yeah. We'll talk about best scenes and moments. So, School, this is your film.
Yes.
We're gonna start with you.
All right. I'm gonna start off with the opening scene. The grocery store robbery is classic. I mean, it really just goes into how quick your life can change. Like you walk, I mean, he says it, you know, you walk into a grocery store and by the end of it, you're accessory to murder. Like shit is crazy. And that's the type of shit that real niggas deal with. You know, I don't know about the Hughes brothers, but I've definitely walked into a store and been followed around, you know what I mean? Just trying to get a fucking Pepsi, you know what I mean? Get a loaf of bread for moms real quick. Like, so definitely that scene is crazy.
Yeah. To your point, I've been in places and just went in and was like, you know what? I'm out.
Yep.
Shit. A lot of them in Toledo for real. I ain't even try to be funny, man. Toledo got some real niggas up there, man. People clown small cities, but small cities, but I got a gun pulled on me in Toledo. Like straight up. Like never happened in Cincinnati, knock on wood. But that shit happened in Toledo. Niggas is not playing.
Oh shit!
Look at Ray P like, oh, my city.
Yeah, you just never know if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep.
Latasha, we also have to mention, of course, Latasha Harlins. For those who don't know that story, 1991, 15-year-old black girl shot to death by a 49-year-old Korean grocery store, corner store, whatever you want to call them, owner. Got community service. Just we're not going to get into it on this episode, but you can look that up. Obviously, there is some kind of tie and connection. When you think about LA and you think about Korean grocery store owners and you think about black people, that is something that definitely comes up. I'm just saying what it is. And it's hard to ignore when you watch a scene like this. This happened 2 years later. So it's hard to, I just want to, I guess, keep her name alive. I'm real big into that. I've said it before. You know, it's our job as a living to keep the memory of those who passed alive. And that was just a senseless murder. Wasn't justified, wasn't accounted for, no repercussions. So RIP to that young girl, Latasha Harlins. We'll get into Kane's child. Oh, I'm sorry. I won't say my scene. Ray, your scene. What you got?
Oh, no. You can, because mine is a little bit past that. But I, too, had the opening school just because what a way to start a movie with something so crucial to the plot line.
Yeah.
And we really get to see who these people are. Rich, you said that Kane was supposed to be tougher. I like that he was a bit softer, especially once we got to know his background, which is into your scene. Knowing the way that his parents died and ended up, he very well could have been O-Dog. And even though he was into some trouble, he really wasn't a troublemaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you was robbing, but you wasn't trying to be a killer. You know, I think that you felt some remorse with the shit, whereas O-Dog just was
didn't give a fuck.
didn't care, didn't give a fuck, you know. So I'll take
no regard for human life. You just shot a man to death and you kick him because you can't find the money. You were that irritated and upset with him that you kick his dead body thinking that he's gonna feel that.
Like, okay.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you just see what time it is right there. But yeah, that rolls into the next scene, which we see Kane's childhood. And we see what kind of chance he had growing up. So it is, to Rachel's point, an amazement that he didn't turn into O-Dog, and he did have some praying grandparents who took him in and looked after him. You know, schooling myself, we had a praying grandmother. I mean, my goodness. And I strongly believe that a lot of things that I missed were because of her prayers, you know, the mom's prayers and big sis prayers and all of that. So that says a lot about Kane. But this opening scene, man, you just see he was doomed from the start. I made the reference before about American Gangster, you know, when Mama tells Frank, you know, if you were a doctor, your brothers would have been doctors. If he had a better influence, if he had something else to see, his life probably would have been different. But this movie does a great job of normalizing the trauma. You know, everybody's living in trauma, but they don't even know it. It's just a normal day. You can see somebody get shot. It's nothing to kill somebody, to take a life, even if it's a bum on the street, you know, trying to exchange cheeseburgers for drugs. It's just so common to them. So that film kind of started all of that. If you've seen that when you were 5 years old at the house party, then that's nothing. Your pop shot a nigga. Right in front of your face. Like on some gangster shit.
First time, but not the last.
And not the last time. He did it over and over. Like he said it throughout the film in the commentary, the voiceover. You know, I learned how to cook. I learned how to make drugs from my dad. He didn't teach me much, but he taught me that.
And don't forget, he called him in there. Kane, come in here. Like, he called him in there. Like, it's a dead body on the floor, and you calling your son in the room. That's insane, bro.
Because it's not. Some people don't have, and I've seen this. Some people don't have that. Let's take it on a smaller scale, right? Let's not make it so big as far as the killing. People who cuss like sailors in front of kids, right? To them, that can be a drawing line. There's a lot of people who strongly feel, yo, stop cussing in front of my kids. I remember being in a football game when I was about 5, 6 years old. My pop took me to a Bengals game. There's a group of grown men cussing behind me, and I remember him turning around like, yo, my son. Like, you know what I mean? Like, chill out. And they chilled out. There's other people who don't care. Let it fly. They might cuss with their kids growing up. It's a line. So when I look at stuff, it's, you know, you can tell what type of childhood people have by the kind of adults they are and what their morals are and what their principles are, because they were taught that was right.
Facts.
So yeah, that's always a very interesting thing. And this nigga owed him bread and was so defiant about it. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, not because of what happens, but just the audacity of it is astonishing to me. Like, nigga, who the fuck is you, Ron O'Neal?
Hey.
Or else. I told your monkey ass I had your money when I get it to you.
He just got out of jail.
Hey, he been out of jail for 2 weeks.
He gave him 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He gave him 2 weeks.
And
I gave you 2 weeks. I ain't even press you about it. You at my crib. I'll let you in. This is me asking you.
Not only that, word on the street is you got that bread from the robbery stashed. So you got my money.
Yeah, you can't talk about pay or else, bitch nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be calling me all types of bitch niggas and you owe me bread.
That's crazy.
Of course he took it too far. I don't think I'm pulling out the pistol on him.
Nah.
But there's definitely more than words.
Yeah.
Then he told that man to suck his dick.
That's when you got to shoot a nigga.
Yeah, it definitely was out of hand very early. But sheesh. You might not have been able to come in if I know that you owe me bread. And I believe that you have the money. Like, that's a conversation before you sit down.
Like, obviously you got some type of bread. We ain't here gambling.
Yeah.
He was just so passive about it. Like, brush that nigga off. Like, gave him the get on out of here.
Crazy.
I told your monkey ass I'll pay you. And don't ever invite another man to your private parts. That's like law number one.
That's rule number
Something
one.
you learn very early in life. You better be ready to throw hands after that shit, because that's just some disrespectful shit.
Another rule you learn in life is if you pull that pistol, you got to be able to you pull.
Yeah, that shit ain't no toy. That ain't no play piece. Yeah. School, what you got for your next scene?
My next scene is, unfortunately, man, Harold, man. You know, obviously, Kane don't have a lot of people he looks up to or respects in a sense, and he loved his cousin Harold.
Yeah.
And man,
that was his dog, his right hand.
Dog. Like, you can, and obviously O-Dog, all them niggas is his dog, but his cousin is his guy, his ride or die. Like, when they was on their way to the gas station, like how he was sweating O-Dog, like, y'all gonna follow us, y'all know the way, right? Like, it almost makes me feel like Kane felt something, you know what I mean? Like, he knew something wasn't right. Like, he wanted them to be close to them, like, and they got to that light, man. And I love the fact that Harold wasn't no chump. Like, Harold was like, get out the car, Kane. Like, cause I'm going out squeezing, nigga. Like,
but all right, so hold on. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't know. This might be me breaking my own rule. Maybe I'm putting my 36-year-old glasses on for a brief second.
Okay.
Isn't the right thing to do to let them niggas have that whip, right? Like, we all can attest to that. Obviously, that's not the rules there when you're in that life. I get it. So I'm not saying that Harold made a wrong decision or made the bad decision. That's exactly what Harold would do 10 times out of 10, right?
Yeah.
But Harold probably should just gave the whip up.
Listen, absolutely.
Yeah, like, I would think it would be easy to find.
But listen, we talking about Harold probably 20. You see when he's driving, he think I don't want to say he think he that nigga, because for real, he that nigga. Like, he got a little rep, whatever. Like, you can't think about if he would have gave up that car, what O-Dog would have said. What AWACS would have said. Like,
but that's the thing. So, do you know what I mean? Niggas get killed every year for caring about the opinions of niggas like O-Dog. Like,
that's how I mean.
But you did just make a good point. There are certain people that have irrational confidence. You know, if we make an NBA reference, you look at a nigga like Deion Waiters, who was not one of the best players. Trust me, he's skilled. But that nigga has the confidence that he's the best player on the floor. It don't matter if KD on the floor, LeBron on the floor, Steph on the floor. He thinks he should be taking the last shot. Harold might have had that kind of confidence and thinking to myself, like, I can bust on both of these niggas.
He did.
And get out of here. And was very, so I can't take that away from him. You made a very good point with that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He went out bad, though, man.
Yeah.
The Hughes brothers even said that they regret some of the images, like the after effects of a gunshot. They were very graphic shit in this film when it came to that. And even the seizure on the ground afterwards, which that actor wasn't even available. That was one of the Hughes brothers doing that.
That was Albert.
That was Albert doing that on the ground. But yeah, that was just nuts. That was just a nuts scene.
And shout out, sorry, not to cut you off, but shout out to O-Dog, bro. Cause like, you need a nigga like O-Dog in those type of situations. Like, cause Sharif was like, nah, we can't leave him here. Like, that nigga dead, bro. Like, the nigga that we can save, let's try to save him. Like,
but you also need a Sharif.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You can't just leave my man's in the street like that.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
But this nigga, hey, hold on, man. This shit ain't funny. But this nigga O-Dog said, we got to do that shit another time. Come on. Hey, we got to get him to the hospital. He said, we got to do that shit another time. I just never heard nobody describe that shit. He about to die. We got to do it another time. Man. He ain't gonna make it.
Kept it real.
Oh, man. And it showed the whole scene, even going back to the house party, it shows O-Dog's mentality. You know, he's already showing the tape off, and when Kane say something about him, he laughed like, bro, I know you're upset, bro, but the shit funny to me. Like him blowing somebody's head out is hilarious to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets you even more into his mentality. Ray P, you got the next scene?
Yeah, I also had the Kane and Harold shooting, but my next scene really, really it jumps. So I'll go to something I didn't write down, but I did like is Ronnie picking up Kane from the hospital, just because it's like it's not our introduction, but we're seeing kind of that this is something deeper than just friendship. But I did have a question for y'all about Ronnie.
Yes.
Is she Parnell's age or is she Kane's age?
I think she's closer to Kane's age.
Yeah, I think Parnell.
You know, niggas love them young girls.
Yeah.
Parnell a dirty son bitch, man.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That also what I thought, but I couldn't gauge if Kane is 18. Like, how old is she?
I always took her for about 19, 20.
Yeah. 19, 20, yeah, same.
Yeah, I always took her for about 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
So if Anthony's 5, then Parnell really a dirty son bitch.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we give her a little grace and say she was 22. I don't know, but either way, he knew what he was doing, messing with her.
Yeah.
Bell of the Mount Rich, huh?
Yeah, Bell Bond Rich, man. I guess that's easy to say. And that nigga Cassidy said, "I'll hop out on you like they did Harold at the light." That shit fucked up. School, what scene you got?
The next scene I have is it's I don't know if it's like a major scene, but it's one of my favorite scenes. Is when the white dude comes to try to get Chauncey to steal that car for him.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, and that nigga tell him, what you coming over here so early for? He's like, well, you told me to come over here at 1 o'clock. He said, motherfucker, I don't get out of bed till 2:30. Nigga, don't you ever come over here before that.
Crazy.
Give a fuck what I said.
Hey, I don't give a fuck what I said, nigga. Hey, Clifton Powell, man, is one of the reasons why we started this podcast, bro. Like, Clifton Powell is amazing in any role he's in, but specifically, Chauncey is one of my favorite characters he plays, man. Niggas just he's off the chain. He's a bitch ass nigga for real. He know who he can pull that shit with. That little shit he did with the white boy, but he wouldn't do that shit to old dog.
You in that same scene, if you hear him in the same scene when he tells, "Hey man, give me some links with them grits and shit." You heard the person in the back, like, who the fuck you think I am? Yeah, like, I ain't getting you shit. Chauncey ain't pulling that off.
Chauncey,
you the nigga that answer. You the nigga we wake up to answer the door.
Yeah. Yes.
Shout out to State Property, the movie State Property. What hand you roll up with? He E.
Yeah, he E. Yep.
He's the blunt roller of the crew. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit of street cred for hanging with us, but you really are errand boy, and that's what Chauncey was. I do appreciate the fact that he told dude to come back the next night. He was stuttering like, "Yeah, tomorrow night. You sure you mean night? What? You scared?"
Nigga, yes.
Yeah, tomorrow night. My next scene, we got to talk about it. The get back. The crew watching the tape before they get their revenge for Harold. Everything about this just showed for every action there's a reaction. First of all, in a weird way, and this sounds weird, but they have their sense of brotherhood and they have their sense of community and shit that they do for fun. It's just so far different from what people, the average person does.
Right.
So they are watching this tape and they're getting enjoyment out of it. It's no different than niggas watching the game or playing the game, but it just happens to be a murder tape. So in their own way, they have that. And also the way O-Dog looks at that shotty, like he's just got a piece of heaven in his hands.
Yes.
And the way everybody jumps when they see him pointed at him, because they know O-Dog really like that. Accident or not, he will do that.
Yep.
And O-Dog's speech, of course, in the car.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's one of the all-time just most quoted movie scenes, in my opinion. People use it on music interludes, all types of stuff, just because that's, if you about that life, that's how you ride for your boy. I don't care who out there.
Yep. They getting clapped. Like
you killed your cousin in front of you, blew his head off in front of your face, and you ain't gonna do nothing.
Do nothing.
Fuck that. I'm gonna ride. That's not O-Dog's people.
Nope.
That's your people. I'm riding. I don't care. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know where these fools at. They ain't getting away with it. That was just one of those moments from Larenz Tate who really just killed that scene. So I want to shout out him. I don't care who out there. God damn it. He meant that shit. He meant that shit. And P, what you got? Oh, my fault. My fault, school.
Nah, I was going to say those are scenes like that just piss me off because there's no way that Larenz shouldn't have a nomination for something. You know what I mean? Like that shit is
damn well. You know, good and damn well they weren't nominating this.
Fuck.
What you got next, Ray P?
Performance deserves reward, but you know it ain't gonna be from.
Yeah.
It's from us. He getting some Culture Garden awards.
That's right.
Right. My next scene is honestly the interrogation with Kane and Bill Duke. Because you know, right. That's a classic scene. Again, something that is quotable to this day. That's all.
Yeah, I feel you. Quotable
Kane ain't
like that. And to your 100% show that Kane ain't really like that. A friendly reminder to everybody, just you don't have to say anything. You can shut up. It's cool to be quiet.
Absolutely.
And this always gives me, I want to just give a quick shout out to Don't Be a Menace once again, just because there's so many times when I watch this film and I just instantly think of Don't Be a Menace because they nailed the parody of some of this shit. Spot on.
Sure.
So shout out to them for that.
School, what you got? Don't Be a Menace.
Yeah.
The other scene I have is again the going away party, and Chauncey acting a fool, man. He just couldn't help himself. He knew what was going on with Kane and Ronnie, and the whole party, especially the drunker he kept fucking with Ronnie, and now your boy done got them yams, and he really feeling the way, and he tried to whatever. And one of my favorite quotes, "Hey dog, you strapped? You know it." Hand him that gun.
Still say that,
huh?
To this day, like every time I gotta say, you know what, I say it just like that. You know that.
You know it. And he pistol whipped the shit out of Chauncey, which led up to Chauncey being a bitch ass nigga, and mailing the tape in. So,
but did he overdo it? Was all that necessary? Did Kane have to do all that? This is just me asking. I always stand in the community of if you feel disrespected, act accordingly. Shout out to my boy Chaz. Like, so I'm not one to tell somebody how to respond to somebody pushing up on your girl, but I want to know y'all opinion if he went too far. Could he have just thrown his hands?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. One Kane not like that, even though we did see him kick what's the face? Forever Gangsters.
I think he can fight. I don't think you can survive and make it to his age without knowing how to fight.
Yeah, I saw he could have, but maybe that wasn't gonna send enough of a message.
Yeah. And Chauncey seems like the type of motherfucker that you fight him, but he's coming back. Like he'll get his ass whooped 3, 4, 5, 6 times for the same thing. Like he seems like one of them types. So yeah, had the pistol with him.
That's fair. I like both of those answers. That's fair. Like I said, I don't feel a way about it because, like I said, if that's what you felt you needed to take it, like Rachel said, to get your point across, then that's where you needed to take it. Because I guarantee you, after I do this, you ain't never gonna do that shit again.
Yeah.
Like ever. And if you do, you a fool. Like now, I know what type of dude you are.
Could I have a question?
What's up?
Do you think that Ronnie got away with a lot of the shit she was doing because of Parnell? And what I mean is, you peep how she was talking to some of them niggas, specifically O-Dog, like save some beer for somebody else, like stop drinking all the beer. Like, who else was she on? Stacy. She was talking to Stacy crazy. Like, do you think that was because of Parnell? Like,
what do you mean talking to him crazy?
Huh?
What you mean when you say talking to him crazy?
Like when O-Dog was drinking all the beer, she was on his ass. Like, can you say
what's wrong with being on his ass? She didn't say anything out the norm.
It just felt a little disrespectful. I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe
it's the same way.
With my
Yeah,
nigga
if you
ain't
drinking
had-
all the beers, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say it in a joke way. I never took it as she was on his ass, and they even had the thing like, yeah, that's a key word. You ain't Kane, nigga. So they had that whole back and forth. I never took it serious. I didn't think it. I felt she was within her right to say it because he was.
Yeah, I think she does have some neighborhood clout for being Parnell's girl. Like, I think it's a factor, but not necessarily in the scene that you mentioned. I think that is how essentially she and Kane even got close, because that's Parnell's girl, you know. So there is a level of, for everybody else, this big sis ish, you know. So
I mean,
I think
Kane was
that just the rapport of the neighborhood. Like, it ain't like she ain't from there. It ain't like she an outsider. Like,
Right.
I got
she
you.
from the track. Right.
I mean,
them.
it seemed like Kane was a little bit afraid to fuck with her. You know what I mean? Like
100%. That's your
on that
OG.
level.
Like, it's your OG girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your OG girl. You're not just gonna dive into that. Even when Stacy hit him with the nigga all the time, you up there, you should be trying to fuck. I be trying to fuck.
That nigga said he fit with life. That nigga got super life, nigga.
Yeah, he got super life. He ain't never coming home, bro. You tripping? But I do get the respect factor. He in that scene, which we'll just talk about briefly. Maybe fake deep, but either way, he said that you were like a dad to me. You were a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talk about Kane not having his real dad around, and when he was around, when he was teaching him, but he had multiple father figures throughout this film.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it interesting, because they were all different. You have Mr. Butler, Sharif's dad. You have his grandfather. You have Purnell, who at some point played that role, and they all taught him different things. But yeah, you still have to make your own decisions as a man as far as how you want to live. So it was interesting to see who got through to him and who didn't.
Yeah,
because I think that Purnell probably did share the same type of real care that Mr. Butler shared, but it was in a different way.
Yeah.
Now the Purnell's on the other side. Go ahead.
But I was going to say, but also consider, we don't know when he met the Butlers. He's known Purnell his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And was there while his father was in jail, while he was away and doing other shit, you know, before he died. Like, Purnell really was the OG of his life. And you don't want to hear that, as y'all know I'm a church nigga, but you don't be want to hear that church shit from your grandparents, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
And
being the voice surprising to me.
The fact that you just mentioned that he knew Purnell his whole life, going back to your scene school, the full circle moment when Anthony comes out on the porch. It reminds us of the very opening scene. He's the one that wants, and we saw it earlier when he wanted to point the gun and drink the beer and just do all of that. Like, this life has a way of repeating itself. It's one big cycle until somebody breaks it. Yeah. And the sex scene. So they were the studio requested that the sex scene be shot because they showed this film to test audiences.
They was booing.
Kane and Ronnie kissed, and then it cut to the next scene, and the audience started booing.
Yeah,
the whole movie we've been waiting on this, and y'all just gonna have a little kiss? Like, nah, what's going on? But they didn't know how to, like I said, 21-year-old filmmakers, they didn't know how to really. They were embarrassed to try to film a sex scene, so that's why it looks the way it looks.
Yeah,
it's not very graphic, anything like that. Even though everything else in the movie was, there was actually going to be another scene showing Kane having sex with Alina. It was more, as they say, animalistic, to show the difference between how he feels about people like a woman like Alina, how he feels about Ronnie. Obviously, that film didn't make the scene, or didn't make the. That film didn't make the scene. That scene didn't make the film, but you guys get the point.
Yeah, I read that. I don't even think. I think it said they weren't even going to allow them to kiss, like that type of shit.
Yeah, they weren't going to kiss. Yeah, him and Alina weren't even going to kiss. Just to really, this is straight about buns.
Yeah,
about them cheeks. Nothing else.
Straight up.
Nobody mentioned the carjack scene, so I got to just shout that out.
Yeah,
another classic Menace II Society scene. Double burger with cheese. The pager goes off. I laugh out loud every single time when that pager goes off. Oh, you a baller? You a baller?
You a baller? Yeah.
But really just getting what you want, jacking his rims in front of him. And like I said, the normalcy of a lot of this shit. When that gun got pulled on him, you can clearly see that he's a square, but he wasn't shook. Like, it was like that wasn't the first time that had happened. Right. Kind of just like, damn, man, what you want?
Yep.
Like there was no fear of life. Like I know this is transactional.
Mm-hmm.
This nigga does not want to kill me. He's just trying to get something off me. Take what you need. But fuck you for making me order you a double burger.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
With cheese.
With cheese.
Yeah, man.
You got another
school. What other scene you got?
The picnic scene, man, with Mr. Butler. When Mr. Butler show up, man, it's just I love that scene because no matter how gangster niggas is, they always have somebody that they respect. And Mr. Butler was that to all of them, even AWACS or A-Ward. Like they respected him. You know, they tried Kevin, old dog tried to put the weed down. And he told him, like, man, I smoked a little reefer. You good, man? Like, what's up with that plate, little lady? You know, and they got to make a plate. Hey, your girl's super slow with that plate, ain't she? Like,
yeah,
just good acting, man. Charles Dutton is a legend.
For sure.
Yeah. After him, Rock.
Yeah, that's why I got cooked out with Rock.
Yeah.
That was cool. So I'll agree with everything that you just said there. And even though, again, we have the scenes from the grandparents, it was nice just to see somebody in the movie, like with some sense, somebody trying to impart some sort of wisdom and sense into these young people. My next scene is probably them.
Well, can I say something real quick about that scene?
For sure.
That scene and obviously him in the school.
Yeah.
Talking to Sharif and Kane. I combined both of them.
Yeah.
The one thing that Mr. Butler represented in my eyes was just that black man they could be.
Yeah.
That if they see everywhere else is judging them for who they are, but he's actually like, no, I understand you guys.
Yeah.
Understanding is a big piece in all of this.
Yes.
I understand you. I know you guys aren't. I don't view you the same way as society. Most people like me do, like society does.
Yep.
And they are open to him and vulnerable to him because they know it's not a judgmental place. It's just this is a regular person who like is real about everything. You ain't got to hide the reefer. I used to smoke some of that. Whether I agree or not, that's your business. That's your decision.
Absolutely.
Them asking questions about Sharif and why the way he is. Him even saying like, I just can't meet a barber. He never expected them to meet him where he was. He would always reach down. I don't even want to say reach down, but he would always reach across to where they were to try to build some kind of bond and let them know. Even Kane said it, he was the first one that actually gave a damn or felt like he came from a real place. So just that character as a whole represented that. And I love the fact that they had him in there because it was your, quote unquote dad in the home type of situation. But it was also, they could have played that a whole different way.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was just a real cool nigga. I just happen to be on this. I understand why y'all doing what y'all do, but whatever change you need to make it. Yeah. Because this life is not it. I've seen the things that you're doing. I'm lucky to survive. Trust me, it ain't it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So my bad, Ray. What's your next scene?
No, you're good. I was just gonna say Ronnie and Kane visiting Purnell in prison just because, I've made the decision to do this, to pursue something that I want. And Kane really needed the okay from Purnell. Like that was not gonna, he couldn't have it on his conscience to feel like he moved on his woman and this and the third without facing him as a man. And again, this is where he says that you were like a father to me. Purnell needed that too. We see that the relationship when they were when Kane was a child continued into at least his adolescence, because Purnell's been away 5 years at this point, 5 years of double life. So it was good to see. And we see Ronnie's upset. How could you not be? Again, a young girl now with this baby with no hope for a father except for Kane, at this point, because decisions, you go, you away. It's nothing you can do for our son in jail. It's nothing you can do for me. Yeah, you set up some money in this house, but like Kane said, I don't see nobody working in here, or I'm the only person working in here, So shout out to that. It was just a really powerful scene. It was good to see that.
No, it really,
but
yeah, you said it. That's exactly how to approach it. You got to face that. Because there ain't nothing at the end of the day, it's really a courtesy.
That's it.
Because even if he said no, like you no offense, my nigga, you going for life. Like this is I'm telling you this is what's about to happen, and I'm showing you the respect that you deserve by telling you face to face. So
and you know I love
scene.
her. Mm-hmm.
Perfect scene. Yeah. School, what you got?
The last scene I have is just the ending, man. Like,
so all right, before we get to the ending, I got a couple more. And Rachel, if you have anything more, we'll just bounce off them real quick. It won't be long. I just love the quick scene when Chauncey is mailing the tape, just because of my dude watching that fight and his commentary. This is a good ass fight, man. It's like Kane whooping your ass the other night, like all of that, just because you just can't live down ass whoopings. That's why Chauncey probably is the type that goes back, because they're gonna let him hear about that, and they know they can pick on him. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Another sign that Chauncey's a bitch.
And you know he did it, because that's such a real. I don't know if y'all ever, anybody out there has ever just giving somebody a hard time for some trash that they done been through.
Yeah.
And they reach a point, man, fuck Kane. Fuck that nigga. Like, he really was angry. He got tired of hearing that nigga name. That nigga was upset. And that just made me laugh out loud. He pushed him to that point. Alina cousin beat down, obviously. I don't know if that is that included in the ending for you?
Yes, that leads up.
Okay, then go ahead.
I hate that fucking run.
That run is the worst type.
That run is ridiculous, man. Yeah, man. Just the ending of the movie, man. The message is powerful. The narration of, like, my granddad asked me one day, like, do I care whether I live or I die? And now it's too late. Like, that's the perfect ending. I mean, no matter what you say about the Hughes brothers, blah, 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 like, the movie ended perfectly. It doesn't give you that, oh, Kane makes it to Atlanta with Ronnie and they live happily ever after. Like, nah, this is good. And you don't make it out 9 times out of 10. It just is what it is. And the nigga that should have been gone and made it out dies too. Like, Sharif shouldn't have been dead. Like, that's insane. But guess who alive? Oh, dog.
Yeah.
So it always works. Rachel said it in a Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Like, niggas like that always get their way. They always win at the end.
Yep.
So I get it. Rachel, do you have any other commentary on the ending scene?
I don't. It was powerful. I don't know why when I was watching it made me think of the baby boy scene when Snoop does a drive-by on Jody.
Hey, that scene is funny, bro. That's a funny scene. Because that nigga talking about, look,
the whole movie is hilarious, man. Don't get me started on Baby Boy, man. I love that movie.
Oh, I can't wait. That's probably gonna be the very last.
I told you that's the last episode of Culture Garden I'm ever recording. I'm not saying Culture Garden gonna end after that.
Yeah.
But the very last episode of Culture Garden I ever record is gonna be Baby Boy, and I'm out.
Gotta be. Okay. I fucking love it.
That's funny. Just that it was crazy. It was a really good scene. Shout out to Stacey for keeping Ronnie safe in the house, and then Kane, even with his life on the line, did the fatherly thing and protected the badass little Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony's bad fuck.
Yeah,
man. And we can easily go in.
Ronnie was playing herself, man.
So, do either one of you know about the original ending?
Yeah.
Right, P, do you?
No.
I think it would have. There's one thing in particular. It's one of those things where I wish I didn't know. Because it really pisses me off. Like, it really pisses me off. And I know this is a movie, but man, it makes me upset. So the Hughes brothers said Alina wasn't actually pregnant. She was just trying to get money out of Kane. So obviously her sending her cousin over there to beat him up or try to beat him up, and then obviously which led to a drive-by.
Yeah.
The fact that it was all built on a lie really pisses me off. The reason I guess the story was out that she was pregnant and why the film made it look like that is because the Hughes brothers didn't cut when she was in her scene, and they let her get carried away and start crying.
Yep.
So it became believable that she was actually pregnant. It was supposed to be a different take where you would have clearly known she just trying to hustle Kane.
Yeah.
So I hate the fact that in retrospect, Kane died for nothing, which I guess an unknown, I guess they didn't try to, but another message
Message. Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that she was not pregnant. I actually thought that the baby wasn't Kane's, and she was just trying to wanted him to be the daddy.
I thought that too, because Kane was the way Kane said, "What you calling me for?" Didn't sound like dirty nigga. It didn't sound like dirty nigga. It was like, no, seriously, why are you calling me? Because you know I'm acknowledging that we had sex, but you know that's not my baby.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I feel he said ain't nothing I can do for you. I don't know what to tell you. But truth, man, if you know, like, I know. Come on, you playing? Stop playing on my phone.
Yeah, straight up. Said I had that Jimmy on extra tight. I think that's the quote that every nigga done used too.
Oh man! And another part of the ending that they didn't shoot, or I think they shot it and it didn't make the film. The same time that Alina's cousin was going to do the drive-by, the cops were on their way to go pick up Kane for the murder.
Yeah, for the videotape.
Yeah, for the videotape. Because they added the very end scene when they show O-Dog in cuffs. Yeah, when they show O-Dog in cuffs, they added that at the very end. The studio asked them to do it. The Hughes brother left it as, this is real life. O-Dog getting away with that.
Yep.
So they actually added it in and stuff like that. The studio actually asked them to add in the Purnell scene, the jail visit. They wanted the movie to have a little bit more heart.
Yeah.
This is a fucking violent movie. I don't know what that's going to do, but I feel it was a good scene.
It was another scene that they I don't know if they filmed it, but they wrote too about Anthony and Ronnie making it to Atlanta and fireworks or something. And Anthony,
this was supposed to be like an ending montage and stuff like that, and showing Anthony's trauma from hearing fireworks and gunshots and just kind of continuing that cycle. The studio asked them to write it. They tore it up. They didn't even attempt because they said that was bullshit. As far as quotes go, School, what you got?
I got you strapped. You know it. Damn, hold on. Another one is. Go ahead, Rich. My bad.
All right,
I don't have a lot because honestly, this movie is horrific. I got Hurry Up and Buy, of course, quotable. You done fucked up now, don't you? That, of course. You know I ain't going out like Willie Lump Lump. And that's all.
So I got. Go ahead. All right, I got so obviously what you say about my mama. You owe me some money, motherfucker. Hell nah, but here you go. That's a classic line when he says that's to Samuel Jackson's character. I don't say this anymore because I don't ask people for gas money. Because I don't really take niggas on rides. But who got snaps on the Petro? Said that all the time in high school. What about him? Hey man, we gotta do that shit another time. Fuck that. I'm selling these motherfuckers for $59.95. Oh shit, look at the motherfucking wheels. Still say that to this day. Hey. When Sharif was in the car with Kane and he asked him about old girl, what happened to Shorty the other day? Oh, you talking about old baby in the black shorts? Yeah, I fucked. Just the way he looked him up and down. It's I fucked.
Yep.
Crazy.
And that girl a little slow in that plate, ain't she?
Hey.
That's all I got. I got the Willie Lump Lump too.
That's it. Y'all got them all. That's it.
Oh man, scene stealers.
We all know the answer to this.
Who?
Is it? It's O-Dog, right?
He's not a scene stealer. He's a main character. What you talking about?
Oh, then it's Charles Dutton for me, Mr. Butler.
Okay.
You going with that, Ray?
I might go Clifton Powell.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not mad at that either. I'm going Charles S. Dutton as well. I almost chose Clifton Powell. I almost chose Samuel L. Jackson. The reason I chose Charles S. Dutton is because when I finished watching the movie, my mind went into imaginary places. Like I automatically started thinking about Mr. Butler's reaction to finding out Sharif got killed. My heart started breaking for him.
Yes.
And I'm like, the fact that I'm invested in this character and the feelings that don't even happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lets me know that's probably my scene stealer.
Yeah.
And I just love the way he presented it. But I love both of those other two that I mentioned. There were a lot of people in the running for this. Things that bother you?
For me, again, I just couldn't figure out the age gap with Ronnie. That was blowing me. And then the other thing was just how graphic this movie was. Am I okay? Do I need to go take a bath or be somebody's praying grandmother for a second, and get to the throne for these young Black people? Because I don't feel okay.
School has been saying for years that Menace II Society is a horror movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it is. I think I agree with that sentiment. School, you got anything that bothers you?
No.
The only thing that bothers me, and it's coming off the tail of Winning Time for We Got Y'all, at the house party, the going away party at the end, right? We know Kane just graduated high school a month or two ago. It's summertime. Chauncey's telling this girl that me and AWAX was at the Lakers game last night. I don't know if that's one of those, I'm going to tell you anything, get out my face, or if that was just a continuity error where they said they were at the Lakers game, but it's the middle of the summer. I know that's very minor and that's very small, but that is something that always bothers me when I hear that in this film.
Is it still the summer?
I've always imagined that it is.
Is it not June? Is it not the finals?
No. So think about this. 93, the Lakers weren't in the finals, or 92. The second thing is, I'm thinking this is more July. I don't know. It's just something that always bothered me. You got to be this playoff time. It's late June at that. If you graduated in early June, this is at least 3 or 4 weeks after that. Season's over.
Yeah.
Very small nitpick shit. It's not anything to be taken serious, but it always just one of those small nerd things that I notice, and it bothers me.
I'm thinking it's no longer summer. I'm thinking it might be fall. It's LA, so.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it was fall, my man's would have been in Kansas because he would have been at camp for football.
He would have been.
And he was out there helping them move.
Yep.
Yeah, but if he playing ball, he should have been gone anyways already.
They usually go about July, middle of July. I think that I think it was around that time.
Yeah.
Early July, middle July. Listen, it's a small thing.
Yeah.
It's a very small thing. I just don't know. I just hear it and I was like, what part of the year are we in? It's used at the Lakers game. And y'all niggas went at no Lakers game.
Not at all.
I know some Clippers niggas when I see them. AWAX and Chauncey was definitely at the Clippers game.
Facts.
Come see about me. Was moving with her. Come see about me, Rachel.
I suppose.
Not really.
But...
Yeah, there were no come see about moments in this movie. Any actors from The Wire? No. Soundtrack to reach number 11 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the hip hop R&B charts when it came out. Obviously, a lot of West Coast artists. Wouldn't let that happen to me. Anything? Anybody got anything?
No.
School, you got any other trivia for us?
I don't know if you said this, but this movie was filmed in 33 days.
Yeah.
We did discuss Old Dog being 15. Another thing, fuck in its variation was used 305 times. Also, the scene where Kane is cooking crack, supposedly 50% of that was real crack. And also the studio made him cut scenes because the original scene, step by step, they taught us how to cook crack. So the studio had said, nah, we can't do that. So they took out some steps. Yeah, man, that's all I got though.
I've always wondered why they wanted to use 50% crack. I don't know if that's that young ambition of wanting to be as realistic as possible.
Because they from Claremont, nigga.
From Claremont, yeah, you're right.
They want to prove they can buy crack.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that step-by-step thing was always funny to me. They really showed us how to cook crack in Menace II Society.
It's insane.
Had to edit it, so we won it. I had a couple different things for trivia. Production was shut down for 2 days because there was a gang shootout. A member of the HVB blood gang. Shout out to Jordan Downs, where Kane lived and his grandparents lived. They shot it up in real life because that was a Crip territory. So 2 days of production were lost. I mentioned film debut for Larenz Tate and Jada Pinkett Smith, but Jada Pinkett back then. New Line Cinema mandated. They told these niggas, if we make this movie, you have to get a platinum rapper in here. MC Ren from MWA was supposed to play the character of AWACS, but at the end of 92, he converted to Muslim, and that's how they ended up getting MC8. What's that? Islam, excuse me. You're right. Thanks for correcting me on that. Converted to Islam, became a Muslim, and MC8 ended up taking the role and ad-libbed majority of his lines so he can have a real gangster portrayal. He also had Too Short in the film as well. Let's see. There were also supposed to be two characters, two girls that were Kane's friends that just never made the movie. They're supposed to be robbing people on some Tamika and Tammy shit. Shout out to all the Biggie fans.
Yes, sir.
They just never made the film. Something happened with it. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting wrinkle. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
I have one more. My bad, guys. You know who was originally supposed to play O-Dog and regrets?
Oh yeah, I meant to talk that down. Yeah, we got to talk about that real quick. Go ahead.
Ice Cube, man. I don't know if I could see him playing this. I mean, I could maybe him playing a different character, but Larenz embodied this role so much that I just can't see anyone playing this shit, man. But that's just
nobody else is O-Dog. Yeah. Nobody else is O-Dog. That's 100%. It makes perfect sense. Even going to the studio's mandate to have a platinum rapper. You see the success of Boys in the Hood. You have Ice Cube in there. You want Ice Cube in this movie. That's why the description of O-Dog before Larenz was cast as a muscular person with a jerry curl
makes sense.
Fits Doughboy, fits Ice Cube. But obviously Larenz Tate made it his own. So I'm glad that he didn't do it. Ice Cube acknowledged the fact that Larenz Tate killed it the same way Will Smith acknowledged that he could have never played Neo from The Matrix, even though he turned it down. It just worked out like that. So we get to the end of the episode where we rated the average viewer rates this film 7.5 out of 10. School, too high, too low, just right.
I'm gonna say it's too low. I'm going 8.3, man.
Okay. Ray P?
I'm gonna say too high. I'm gonna go 6.2.
Ooh. I'm gonna go too low. I'm going 8 even. I'm going 8 even.
I like
8
it.
even. Okay then. That was fun.
That was amazing.
That was fun, man. I enjoyed talking about that with y'all. Ray P, I feel you. I understand. If I wore my 36-year-old glasses, on this episode, I think I would have been saying too high as well. But I tried to keep it where it is.
I couldn't take them off. Like, I was so flabbergasted. I was uncomfortable throughout my rewatch. I'm like, oh my God, y'all, what the fuck?
Listen, man.
I've seen this times. And I don't know the last time I actually watched it and definitely sat down and watched top to bottom. Bruh. We need some more praying grandmothers. Like, I'm ready to go fucking gun collection and street sweep.
Nah, that's real. It's rough, man. It's a real thing. I remember when Culture Guard started in 2020, and we all know what happened, in 2020 and that summer and everything else. And I specifically remember me in school saying, like, we're not doing any of these hood nigga movies. Like, I ain't trying to see nobody get shot up.
Nope.
I ain't trying to hear Ricky. I ain't hear none of that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a reason why we're just now kind of getting to it. Yeah. And like I said, I try to look at these type of movies from the perspective of what was the filmmaker's intent when they made it, and let me try to look at it from that lens versus my own personal ones. Because as a black man, 36-year-old black man, my heart breaks. It literally breaks watching a film like this because I know this is real life, and I just want to save everybody. And I know a lot of them are so far gone. O-Dog is so far gone. So I respect people like Mr. Butler who even have the attempt or at least have some kind of respect for him. And Rachel, you also bring up a good point before we get out of here. One thing I've learned from doing this is always interesting when you look at these films from I don't want to say critique, but a note-taking standpoint. I'm actually going to talk about this film versus just blurt out some random lines that I like. We're actually going to have a real conversation. Right. It changes things. So we don't try to, because I think about it, I mentioned Crash a lot, and I listened to our soul food episode, which was that's a whole different thing. I owe Soul Food some apologies, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
But I look at our Crash episode and I'm like, man, I don't want to sound like the get off my line nigga. But at the same time, certain things you just have to keep it a buck with.
Right.
And you have to find some kind of balance. So hopefully it never comes off like that. And a lot of people, when we say certain things, they go back and watch the movies and they'll comment and say, oh, damn, I kind of see what y'all meant now. When you're looking at it from a conversational standpoint. But with that being said, this is a grail. This is a classic, regardless if you think it's an 8.3 or a 6.2. I understand both sides of the spectrum, and we hope that everybody enjoyed this episode and this film. As we mentioned at the top, we got y'all television podcast with Ray P. There will be some episodes coming. There is no TV show on right now, but there will be something coming. So please subscribe to that feed. You can find that in the Linktree.
Yes.
School's Guilty Pleasure will be running on the Culture Garden feed. You will see those episodes. Follow the Linktree as well. Then obviously Culture Garden every Thursday. Next week we will be off and we'll be rolling back at the beginning of October. So hopefully everybody takes the time off to listen to one of your old favorite episodes. Maybe the episodes you didn't get to yet. You know, we got a lot of content out there at this point. But besides that, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Can't do any of this without y'all. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye, guys. Be blessed. Say your prayers.
Straight up.
May the Lord watch me and me.
Straight up, man. Straight up.
About you, and there's a hedge of protection. And in your goings. God be blessed.
Amen. Amen.
Yes,
we
sir.
out.